Hi everyone. Okay, so they say that to speak three different languages is to be three different people. In one language, you may speak more politely, while in another, you can crack all the jokes you'd like, but they'll only make sense in that language. Um, Words slip out faster, or maybe your form of speech could be more intelligent or more pretentious in another. This is the reality that I have lived as a child who spoke three different languages across three different countries. So, to teach a child three different languages at the ripe age of 4 can cause some of its own unusual quirks. I experienced this as I moved from a Catholic school in Italy to an Islamic school in Indonesia, then to an international school in Mexico. In each of these places, I had struggled to adapt to the personalities of each one of my friends, but I had to mirror it with my own. So, sorry. But despite being immersed in all of these diverse cultures and being surrounded by people with big personalities, me and my brother are often called the quietest ones in our extended family. We never developed the big personalities that seem to come so naturally to all those around us, even though we're the ones who've seen more of the world compared to the others. This is how language and drastic changes in life has changed my way of thinking. So, to all of those who know me, you know that I'm quite reserved in new settings. I don't speak very much, and either way, I don't really speak unless I'm spoken to. Even though I've changed so many environments and so many cultures and switched friend groups so often, I still find it super challenging to open up to new people. And I realized that this is because I tended to observe people's personalities before I could decide on how to behave. I tend to mirror people's personalities and see how they would react if I acted the exact same way as I did them. But in doing so, I feel like I've lost sight of my own reflection. But as a person who spends most of her time observing, I can't help but notice the subtle ways in which language can affect my perception on things. For example, in English, we say the red chair. But in Spanish, we say la silla roja, which directly translates to the chair is red. So if someone were to say to me in English, hey, look at that guy in the red chair, my attention would first be drawn to wherever the color red could be. But if that same phrase were spoken to me in Spanish, I would first be looking for wherever the chairs are. But because of this, sometimes I feel kind of like a mess. But I've learned to not let that define me. I've seen too much of the world to just shut myself off from it. And though the world has treated me differently, I often found myself paralyzed by fear whenever I was faced with the unknown. No matter how many times I had to face this, it was always scary to find new environments. But as people grow up in their teenage years, we often have these rapid realizations. We start to notice things and learn about things that we thought we once knew. And we start to have this increasing awareness on ourselves and all of the people around us. Even so, as teenagers, our concerns and all of our worries are very self-centered. So when I was in Mexico and just on the cusp of moving to Indonesia, I started to realize how different people could be in different countries. I saw how people behaved and how different they were from the Mexicans that I was so comfortable with and that I recognized so easily. So because of this, I had to kind of mature in a different way. I matured in a way that was in a jumble of every culture I'd ever known. And I sort of and in every culture that I'd once known, I started to develop all of these different thoughts and different mindsets, and I never knew how to make up my mind on one singular thing. So, for example, seeing how different people were, it kind of affected the way that I was thinking and the way that I recognized people. But even so, even now, I still grieve for the girl that I used to be. I don't exactly recognize myself anymore, and I found it very difficult to relate to some people around me. But even though I've changed so much, every school I've ever attended, every country I've called home, and every person I've ever met has made me exactly who I am. Through all of these experiences, this is the precise tapestry that made me exactly who I am today. And it is what makes me unique. So, to those of you who have grown up in multilingual or multicultural environments, I encourage you to embrace the richness of our experiences and don't be afraid to acknowledge the different parts of you that have been shaped by all the people you've known and all of the places you've been to. And to those of you who haven't been able to experience this firsthand, I invite you to seek out opportunities and acknowledge and to be open to the ideas of the amount of different ways of living and communicating that there are in this world. So together we can create a society that values multiculturalism, and we can all embrace our experience. Every small action can make a difference, so together we can do that. And I'm Benavera. Thank you for listening.